Hey there, Mr. Sutton here with the IM321 Extra Practice number 4 solutions on multiplying polynomials. Now, this extra practice is associated with a puzzle. Let me show you that. So here's the puzzle that goes with this, and we're trying to solve the riddle, why is a stick of gum like a sneeze? So we've got 18 different exercises here. For each of these, we have to multiply polynomials together and then find the answers in the set of answers under those exercises. So for example, 1 through 6, we're only looking through these couple of answers here. Once we find it, we have to cross out the letter above the answer, and then at the end, the remaining letters are going to give us the answer to the question. So let's do this. So our opening question, we've got x plus 3 times x plus 5. Multiplying binomials together, we have to lobster claw or foil this thing. Basically multiply each thing in the first parentheses by each thing in the second. So we have x times x is x squared. X times 5 gives us 5x, and we're adding now. 3 times x is plus 3x, and then 3 times 5 is giving us 15. Combining like terms, the 5x and the 3x give us an 8x in the middle. So x squared plus 8x plus 15. And that looks like it's under e right here, so we'll cross off the e. Now we're doing x plus 2 times x plus 9. Foiling this out, we have x times x is x squared. X times 9 is plus 9x. 2 times x is plus 2x. And 2 times 9, we've got 18. Now we can combine the 9x and the 2x in the middle because they are like terms. So that'll be 11x squared, or actually just x squared plus 11x plus 18. And that matches up with answer choice U, so let's cross off the U. For this one, we have x minus 8 times x plus 1. X times x gives us x squared. X times 1 is going to be a plus 1x, or just plus x. Negative 8 times x, that's negative 8x minus 8x. And then negative 8 times 1, that's minus 8. Combining the 1x and the negative 8x, that gives us a negative 7x to go between the x squared and the negative 8. And if I look closely in my answer choices, that matches up with B, so crossing off B. For this one, we've got x minus 3 times x minus 6. Multiplying this out, we've got x times x, that's x squared. X times negative 6 is minus 6x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And then negative 3 times negative 6, that's plus 18. Now we can combine the negative 6 and the negative 3x's in the middle. So we'll have x squared minus 9x plus 18. And x squared minus 9x plus 18, that's right here, so cross off the A. Next up, we've got 2x plus 9 times x minus 2. So this is the first time we don't have just x times x sort of deal. Foiling this out, first we have 2x, and x is going to multiply to give me 2x squared. 2x times negative 2, that's going to be negative 4x. 9 times x is a plus 9x. And 9 times negative 2 is a negative 18. So we've got 2x squared, and combining these terms here, we have a 5x plus 5x there, minus 18. So 2x squared minus, or plus 5x minus 18, that's right here. That's going to be n. Cross that off. Now for the last problem in this set of 6, we have 3x plus 1 times 2x plus 4. Lobster clawing this thing out, we have 3x times 2x, that's going to be 6x squared. And then 3x times 4 is a plus 12x. 1 times 2x is plus 2x, that's not so bad. 1 times 4 is 4. So 12x and 2x, that's giving us a 14x in the middle. Nothing else changes here. Looking for that in my answer choices, that looks like it's going to be S. We'll cross that one off. So the only things left over that we're going to keep around, moving on to the next set of 6, is going to be the I and the T. Maybe the word it. I don't know. Let's keep going. For this, we have 4a minus 7 and 3a minus 2. So no longer x's. These are all a's. And apparently looking at the answers here, there's going to be some b's involved as well at some point. Probably not in this one, though. So we have a 4a times 3a. that gives me 12a squared. 4a times negative 2, that's negative 8a. Negative 7 times 3a is going to be negative 21a. And then negative 7 times negative 2 is a positive 14. Still have the 12a squared. The minus 8 and minus 21 combined to give us a negative 29a. And that 14 is still around. So looking for 12a squared minus 29a plus 14, that's O right there. So let's cross off the O. This is an interesting problem. We have 2a plus 5 and 2a minus 5. Now, there is actually a shortcut that you may have learned for doing this, but we're not going to assume that you know that shortcut at this point in the game. So just doing this kind of the old-fashioned foil it out lobster claw way. 2a times 2a is 4a squared. And then 2a times negative 5, that's negative 10a. 5 times 2a is a plus 10a. And then 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Negative and positive of the same thing here are canceling out, so that just leaves us with 4a squared minus 25. And that matches up with choice R, so we'll cross off the R. Moving on with this next one, foiling this out, we have 6a times 2a is 12a squared. 6a times 4, that's 24a that we're adding. And a negative 1 times 2a, that's negative 2a. Negative 1 and 4 is negative 4. So we have 12a squared, and now 24a minus 2a, that's going to be 22a in the middle, and then a minus 4. So let's see here. We've got all that stuff in choice E. Cross that off. We're moving on to bigger and better things. All the problems from here on out, it looks like, are going to have a's and b's in them. So we can still use the same approach, though. So first, outer, inner, last kind of thing, lobster claw. A times 4a, that's 4a squared. A times b is just ab, and we're adding that. 2b times 4a, well, 2 times 4 is going to be 8, and then we have an a and a b after that. And then 2b times b, that's 2b squared. We have these a, b's in the middle that are like terms. So we have one of these plus another 8 of these gives you 9 a, b's in the middle to go with your 4a squared and your 2b squared. And it looks like that's going to be choice T right there. Cross that off. Now we've got 5a plus 3b times a minus 4b. So we have 5a times a is 5a squared. 5a times negative 4b, that's negative 20, and then an a and a b. 3b plus a, that's 3ab, and we're adding that. And then 3b times negative 4b, that's negative 12, and then a b squared. Negative 20ab and 3ab, that adds up to negative 17ab in the middle. Everything else is going to be the same still. So we have a 5a squared. Do we have any answer choices with that? It looks like we do over here. We also have the negative 17 and the minus 12b squared. So n it is. Bye-bye, n. Next, we're going to be tackling the last question in this set of 6. So 3a times 2a, that's 6a squared. 3a times negative b, that's negative 3ab. Negative 8b times 2a, well, negative 8 and 2 is negative 16, and then we have an ab with that. And then finally, negative 8b times a negative b, that's positive 8b squared. Negative 3ab and negative 16ab give us a negative 19ab in the middle. We still have the 6a squared and the 8b squared. And it looks like that's going to be answer choice, is it this one? 6a squared, negative 19ab, 8b squared. Yep, that's it. That's what it is. So cross off the I. And that leaves us moving on to the next question with an S and an A. So we had the I and the T. Now we have an S and an A. What could this possibly spell? So we were feeling pretty good about ourselves after that first 6 questions there. Now it's gotten a little bit tougher. We are now doing a 2 by 3 for all of these, and there's more answer choices to choose from as well. So the game has just been upped considerably for these last 6 questions. So for each of these, the idea here is you're going to want to take each thing in the first parentheses and multiply it by each thing in the second parentheses. So I'll show it each time. We have n being multiplied by that whole second parentheses, and then plus 2 times the whole second parentheses. And now I can just look at each of these distributions one at a time. So n times n squared, that's n cubed. N times 5n is plus 5n squared. Now we have negative 3n for the next one. And now we have 2 getting distributed. So this is 2n squared plus 2 times 5n is 10n. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And now collecting our like terms, we still have an n cubed. 5n squared and 2n squared is going to be 7n squared. Negative 3n and 10n is going to be a 7n plus 7n. And then we still have the negative 6. So n cubed, and then we have a 7, 7, and a negative 6. That's looking like choice n, so let's get rid of that one. For this next question, let's split this multiplication up. I've got 3n times everything in the second parentheses minus 1 times everything in the second parentheses. Distributing now for each of these, 3n times 2n squared, that's going to be 6n to the 1 plus 2, so 6n cubed. 3n times 4n is 12n squared. And then 3n times 4, that's just 12n. Now we have negative 1 times all this stuff, which essentially just changes the sign of everything. So negative 2n squared, negative 4n, and negative 4. Not too bad there. Now we combine some like terms. 6n cubed, there's no other n cubed to combine with that, but 12n squared and 2n squared negative, that adds up to 10n squared. 12n minus 4n gives you plus 8n, and then we have a minus 4. And let's see here, 6, 10, 8, negative 4, 6, 10, 8, negative 4. There we go, 6n cubed, 10n squared, 8n minus 4. Cross off the I. For this problem, just like the other 2x3s, we're going to split up the multiplication. We've got 2n times the whole second parentheses and 3 times the whole second parentheses. Distributing here, we have a 2n times 6n squared, that's 12n cubed. 2n times negative 2n, that's negative 4n squared. 2n times 1 is just a plus 2n. Now we're doing 3 times everything over here. 3 times 6n squared, that's plus 18n squared. 3 times negative 2 gives us negative 6n. And 3 times 1 is 3. Combining like terms, we have a 12n cubed all by itself. Negative 4n squared and 18n squared adds up to 14n squared. 2n and minus 6n, that's going to be negative 4n. And then 3 is all by its lonesome. So 12, 14, negative 4, 3. Let's see here. Here's 12, 14, negative 4, 3. There we go. Choice D. On this one, we've got yet another 2x3. So now we have 4n times this whole second parentheses minus 5 times the second parentheses. 4n times n, distributing here, is going to give us 4n cubed. 4n times negative 7n, that's negative 28n squared. 4n times negative 2 is negative 8n. Now for negative 5 times n squared is negative 5n squared. Negative 5 times negative 7n, that's a positive 35n. And then negative 5 times negative 2 is a plus 10. Getting our like terms together, 4n cubed doesn't have any other like terms, but negative 28n squared minus 5n squared, that's negative 33n squared. And then negative 8 plus 35 of the n's here is going to give us, what is that, 27n? And then 10 is by itself. So looking for all those, I've got 4n cubed minus 33n squared plus 27n plus 10. That's R. Cross it off. For this one, let me split up my multiplication. So I'm distributing 3n and negative 4 each to this second parentheses. So 3n times all of that minus 4 times all of that second parentheses. Doing the 3n's, we have 3n times 4n squared. that's 12n cubed. 3n times 2n is 6n squared. And then 3n times 3, that's going to be plus 9n. Next, for the negative 4s, minus 4 times 4n squared, that's negative 16n squared. Negative 4 times 2n, that's negative 8n. And negative 4 times 3 gives us negative 12. Let's do our like terms. 12n cubed, no like terms. 6n squared minus 16n squared, that's negative 10n squared. And then we have 9n minus 8n is just 1n, or just n if you're adding that. And then the minus 12. So we started with the 12, we ended with the 12. There's a few that have that, but this one right here, we have 12n cubed minus 10n squared plus n minus 12. A matches, cross that off, and we're on to the final question. So here we go. This one doesn't look so bad for a final question. We have n times all that stuff in the second parentheses plus 8 times all that stuff. Distributing my n times n, 6n squared, that's 6n cubed. N times negative n is negative n squared. So far, so good. N times negative 4 is negative 4n. Now we have to do 8. 8 times 6n squared, that's 48n squared, positive. 8 times negative n is negative 8n. And then 8 times negative 4, negative 32. So we have our 6n cubed, negative n squared plus 48n squared. That's going to be 47n squared because it's negative 1 there. Negative 4n minus 8n is negative 12n. And then minus 32. All right. So we're looking for a 47. There we go. 6n cubed plus 47n squared minus 12n minus 32. Cross off the t, and we are now ready to see what letters are left over and see the answer to this puzzle. So the original question is, why is a stick of gum like a sneeze? What are our letters here? We have an I, a T, an S, and then an A. I'm thinking it is our first word here, ITS, apostrophe kind of just thrown in there. And then we have and then a C, H-E-W. I'm thinking A is the next word, and then C-H-E-W, well, that spells chew. Why is a stick of gum like a sneeze? It's a chew. Get it? A chew. All right, Mr. Sutton signing off. That was a good one.